Hey guys, DCR here and welcome to another Master Duel video. I haven't made a Master Duel video in quite a long time. That's because of one or two things. One, I've been very busy at work and I'm very exhausted when I come back home. And I can't be bothered making content. And also, the other reason is that there isn't much content to make on Master Duel. Because I'm a free-to-play player and I'm constantly grinding gems when there's no event on, well in this case there's no actual gems to grind with, or in this case I'm not spending money on the gems. So what deck have I been playing for Master Duel? Well, in the latest Synchro Festival I decided to play a non-synchro deck. That's right, a Synchro Festival with non-synchros. So yeah, this is a Ancient Warriors, if you have not seen the pictures already, so of the cards. Ancient Warrior cards are very interesting because they are literally your anti-meta in a way. They literally can go second and wipe out your opponent's board and OTK if possible. So yeah, I'm running 3 Maxi because it's a staple hand trap. 3 Ancient Warrior Masterful Sun Mo. I'll explain what the effects do in a moment. 3 Ancient Warriors, Graceful I'm mispronouncing these. I'm probably going to butcher these names. Zugong, Virtuous Lujan, 2 copies of him. 2 Ingenuous Zugong, Kong. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. 2 of this card. 1 of this card. This is your battle hand trap in a way. This one, the loyal one. This one you run as a 1-off because it's a Cyber Dragon, but it's also a brick going first. 1 card, the Valiant. This card is your extender, and also it has multiple effects. And the last Ancient Warrior I'm running is this free of, the only UR you need of the Ancient Warriors, and it is the Rebellious Lu Feng. Now, okay, so what this one does, Sun Mo, is that if you control another Ancient Warrior, some of these effects, with the lower ones, except for this one I believe, except for that one, and probably that one as well, pretty much 2 of them, they have an effect where if you control an Ancient Warrior, they can't be targeted by attacks, so they have some inbuilt battle protection ish, battle target protection. Anyway, so if you were to act, so these effects can be a bit tricky to understand at first if you aren't familiar with these cards, but I will break them down so that they're more easy to understand. So you can send 1 card from your hand or field to the graveyard. That's actually quite important, because if you have continuous cards on the field, they actually continuous spell and traps. They actually matter in the long run. So, so what it does is you send a card from your hand or field to search an Ancient Warrior monster. So this actually matters because it searches either one of your boss monsters or your extenders. So you can either search for Ingenuous, not this one unless you're going first. Loyal, probably not. No, you don't want to search for him. You want to search for either Valiant, Ingenuous, or the Rebellion. Rebellious. So yeah, this is your boss monster. It is your popper. So it has an interesting effect, where if you have Rebellious and Masterful Sun Mo on the field, you create a kind of like a mini lock in a sense. So pretty much what it means is, if your other Ancient Warrior monsters activates their effect, you can target a monster your opponent controls and return to your hand. So I'll explain how Rebellious works. So if you have another Ancient Warrior monster, you can special summon for free onto your field. If you have another Ancient Warrior, it's pretty easy to accomplish. It's like the easiest monster to summon. It's like an extender boss monster, which is very, very strong. So literally, if your opponent has a monster on your opponent's side field, doesn't know target, so it can destroy a card your opponent controls, a face-up monster your opponent controls with the highest attack. So that's the best thing about this card. So that if you pop something with this, you can use Masterful to literally bounce another monster to your opponent's hand. So if your opponent has 2 monsters on their field, you pop 1 and bounce 1 to their hand. Very, very good. The only last part of the effect where Rebellious is at a disadvantage of is that during the end phase, if your opponent still controls a monster with the highest attack on the field, you have to give this to your opponent. So that's the only downside, but it rarely, or in this case, never comes up, because you're always going to clear their field and they're not going to have a monster on their field. So yeah, and besides, you wouldn't really summon it if you don't have a way to clear their board. What Graceful does is that you can target a spell trap you control, continuous spell trap, to the graveyard and add a spell trap that's Ancient Warrior related. So one of these two sagas. So very good. It's very good if you have one of these two currently on the field, because if you were to send one of these to the graveyard, they have an effect where, with this one, if it's sent from the field to graveyard, if you control two or more Ancient Warriors with different attributes, I believe. I'm trying to find where it says that. Oh no, it must be the other one. It must be this one that has two more attributes. So if it's this one sent from the field to graveyard anyway, you can special summon Ancient Warrior from your hand. So it's kind of like a mini extender. So it's pretty good. So yeah, you like to send this one, and then this one summons out one of the other ones. Very good. So next one is the Virtuous. Let's just call him Virtuous. With Virtuous, this is one of your main starters in terms of trying to combo. So your opponent has two monsters. This is very important. If your opponent has two monsters when you're going second, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard and special summon an Ancient Warrior from your deck. So this is how you can summon out one of these two to actually make your combo plays live. So if you special summon, usually I summon Master Duel first, because Master Duel allows me to search for anything I need and create more extender plays, and that's how you can kind of OTK with that. So when attack is evolved using another Ancient Warrior monster, you can draw a card, free card. So anything that battles that's except itself, it draw a free card. Pretty nice. And the reason why I run two of this is because it's great if it's a starter, but it's not really the needed starter in a way. So the reason why two of is kind of the best ratio for this, for Virtuous, is because it doesn't make your opponent is never going to make it at least two monsters. Usually they create one boss monster, but rarely they make a second one. That's why I'm playing it 2 copies. 2 Ingenuous. Ingenuous is literally a spell trap and monster effect negation. So if you control another Ancient Warrior card, so if this card is added to your hand by an Ancient Warrior card in any way, you can special summon it from your hand for free. So it's very good. So you can search it from Masterful to literally special summon itself. When a spell trap is activated, you can send a face-up Ancient Warrior's continuous spell trap to the graveyard to negate the activation. So it's a free spell trap negation. But if you have Virtuous on the field, so this one allows you to have a monster negate. So that's the only upside. So that's how you can create some strong plays with this card alone. With this card and as your other extender plays. So pretty much you can't get negated in any way possible. So they try to negate you, you just send a continuous spell and trap. Is it any? No, it has to be Ancient Warriors. So you can send an Ancient Warriors spell and trap to the graveyard and negate one of their stuff. Very good. Now with Fearsome, Fearsome allows you to create a mini battle hand trap. So basically, if your Ancient Warrior battles, you can special summon this card during the damage step, at the start of the damage step, and your opponent loses 1,000 attack. So it's very key with this. So basically, your monster will survive. So if you have something like Masterful on the field, this creates a kind of a mini battle. You can't really get destroyed. So that's one good reason why. And also can be used during your turn and your opponent's turn as well. So very good. Also, if you destroy a monster. So let's say if you destroy a monster and you special summon this with Masterful in the field, you can use this effect to destroy a card your opponent controls. So if they have multiple cards on their field, you can literally pop and yeah, very good. You can kind of see the point. With Loyal is your free Cyber Dragon on your starting hand. So the only way this card is good is if you start it off with. You have to start this off. in your hand. That's the only difference. Otherwise, the longer the duel goes, or in this case, the longer the turn goes, this card becomes dead. Unless you have a way to summon it off from your hand, so this one. What Loyal does is it has an inbuilt protection, so if you inbuilt protection for your other Ancient Warriors. So if you have other Ancient Warriors on your side of the field, they can't be targeted by card effects. So it's very, very good. And also, if yeah, this effect never comes up. I can tell you that. The second effect never comes up. But if it does, it does. So pretty much it pops a card if your opponent has more monsters than you. With Valiant allows you to create extender boards. Also, if your opponent has 3 or more monsters, you can literally attack using this card. You can attack 3 times. Oh, sorry, 2 times. But literally, your opponent. But it can only attack monsters, so that's the only downside. So you attack with this one first, and you attack with everything else. Pretty good. And if you control 2 or more Ancient Warriors, you can special summon from this hand. Very key. Free Gadala, because it's the budget kaiju of this deck, and you can easily OTK if your opponent has a boss monster that has a negation. So tribute over the monster, and yeah, that's all she wrote. Free Rebellious, I've explained its effect already. Now these are your going second cards: Regeki, Duster, and Lightning Storm. Pretty simple, but don't explain it. Free Tensu and free Tenki. You need one of these to start your plays. If you have Tensu and let's say Graceful, that's actually no. If you have Masterful and you have Tensu, or you have one of these two and these, pretty much, you can create some interesting OTK plays. Or if you have Virtuous and they have 2 monsters in the field, open this up, open Tensu and open Virtuous. You can swarm the field pretty easily. So yeah, as long as you summon a different, you send a different card out than Tensu, because you need Tensu on the field so that you can send with Graceful, I believe. So you send. So if this card, you summon this, get rid of a card from your hand, summon out Graceful or Masterful, depending on how you do things. Depends on your hand. It's a bit tricky to explain because you need at least one of these 2 in your hand to make your starter plays live. So, or you can do this. You can use this effect. Actually, no. Now I remember. So use this effect. Summon out. Discard a card from your hand. You have Tensu. So this plus this. Discard a random card from your hand. Summon out Masterful, and then use this effect to discard a card from your hand. Add Graceful. Then you can normal summon, properly normal summon using this effect. Send the Tensu to the graveyard, and activate Saga. Add Saga, I believe. That's how you can create 3 monsters with just 2 cards, 3 cards technically. So it's a 3 cards combo, but it's very, very good. Actually, no, it's a 2 card combo technically. The only different, it's like 2.5, and yeah, it's pretty good. Tenki, yeah. Tenki, search for this, and if your opponent has 2 monsters, go off like I explained the combo just now. Yeah, free Saga or free visits, and 2 borrowing of arrows. So yeah, if you normal summon or special summon an Ancient Warrior, you can. Oh, also if you have a null extender card, so you have a like Rebellious in your hand, or you have Valiant in your hand, special summon them and grab the additional copy, and then you'll probably have 5 monsters on your field. So that can kind of OTK your opponent, OTK your actually that can create OTK. Now I think about it, because this can search any Ancient Warrior when you special summon or normal summon. If you start with this and these 2 off, so you start with these 2 off, and you have this, that's pretty much OTK. So it's kind of like a 4 card combo starter in a way. It's very, very good. Yeah, this one you only use this effect to halve your opponent's attack. It's only if you can't get around their cards, which does come up quite a bit. And also, if this card is sent from the field graveyard, if you control 2 more attributes, you can place an Ancient Warrior spell trap from your deck onto your field face up. So you can activate a Saga directly from your deck. Very good. 2 Chalice. I'm not running Imperm because I feel like Imperm is not really that good in this deck, or Droplets. I don't feel like you need droplets, because the problem with this deck, if you're playing this deck in the Synchro Festival, you need certain starters and your hand is kind of limited to what you can play. So I thought Chalice might be the best budget option. And also Two Call by the Grave, because hand traps are literally the death of this deck. Also back row is also very hurtful against this deck. Because the reason why is that if you're starting play, let's say you normal summon Masterful or you normal summon Virtuous, if you don't open up Tensu, you start one of these cards. They either pop your card or bounce it to your hand. You kind of have to end turn without a Tensu. Reason why is because what else are you gonna do? You can't make additional plays. The only way you can actually extend is if you have your Loyal Guard, Loyal Guan. Sorry, that's the only way to extend, in a sense, because Saga. Saga adds, let's say, Ingenue. That's your backup play if you have this, or you can add Fearsome, and that's your battle protection for the turn. Or you can use Ingenuous to create Spell Trap or monster. Actually, Spell Trap negation, because you don't have Virtuous on the field, so it's a Spell Trap negation. That's the only downside of this deck, is that it loses very hard to interruptions on the very first play. So that's why Duster and Lightning Storm are very important for this deck, and also Chalice as well, in case you run into monster effects. Call By is also kind of key as well, in terms of your opponent tries to max C you, or in this case, Drolls you in a way. That Droll actually does hurt this deck. Hand traps kind of do hurt this deck. Maxi doesn't really hurt you as much, unless you have a hand trap that literally can stop you from OTKing. That's the only downside, but this deck can actually OTK very, very easily. So, it's no fear, no fear, no play. No fear, go all out. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. It's going on for 17 minutes, sorry about that. But I haven't made a video in a long time, so I'm sorry for not making one for a while. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video for my Synchro Festival video. So yeah, see you guys next time. Enjoy the replays. Bye bye.